All right, touche. Over here to the left.
Are you really tired?
You've mentioned that without the resurrection of Jesus, there is no hope for mankind. And I think on a Christian base that without the resurrection, there's nothing. Aside from faith, what reestablishes your belief, or what evidence is there that the resurrection, that Jesus is who he said he was, and that the resurrection actually happened?
Okay.
From it.
All right. Let me take a crack at this and see if I can confuse you further. You said an interesting thing in your question, aside from faith. So why don't we just start with that? Many people often say to me, Michael, I'm so happy for you. I wish I could believe what you believe, but I can't. I don't know if anyone in this room's heard something similar. What they're saying is this: Michael, look, you seem to be very happy, content, and fulfilled because, and I wish I could be happy, content, and fulfilled like you, but the reason you're happy, content, and fulfilled is that you are a Christian, you believe in Jesus. But he isn't real. He doesn't exist. Now, what do you call people that believe in things that aren't there? The answer is mad people. So what they're saying is, Michael, you're insane. But the main thing is that you are happy and insane, and I am happy that you are happy. And I'm so desperate to be happy, I too would embrace insanity just to join you. I've thought about it, but I can't. Now, this misunderstands completely the notion of faith. Okay? Faith, for most people, is believing in something that you wish were true, but you can't be sure. That's why you need faith to get there. If that is true, strong faith is believing in what you suspect isn't true, but still able to get there. And the strongest possible kind of faith would be when you know it isn't true, but you're still able to believe it. I mean, how much faith do you need for that? Now, the Bible does say that faith is a gift, but it's not the gift of insanity. Okay? The Bible only uses the word faith in one type of manner. Only one. Not in the multiple ways we have in modern English. Only in one way. If I were to say to you, I have faith in Dr. Ravi Zacharias. Okay? If I use that statement, I have faith in Dr. Ravi Zacharias, I'm making two statements. The first one is to reality. In other words, he really exists. Even if you didn't want him to exist, tough. Okay? Two, that I believe he is trustworthy, that he is true. That if he makes a promise to me, it will come to pass. When he says to me, Michael, we're giving you a 25% raise this year, they will deliver. We're now merging the whole idea about claims of faith and faith, but anyway, let's not get confused with that. So my faith in him is a response to the truth and the reality I see. In the same way, faith in God and faith in Christ is always a response to truth and reality. It's on the basis of because it is real and because it is true that our faith is one. Our faith is the only legitimate response to a God who is both true and real. Now, outside of the scriptures, the fact that Jesus Christ has always been proclaimed to have been risen, is absolutely central. In other words, a lot of people think, look, what happened? And if you really want to listen to someone who knows this backwards and forwards, there's a guy called Dr. Gary Habermas, who has the most focused research on the research in this area. And what he says is this, that many people think, look, here was Jesus, AD 30, nice guy. Okay? AD 33, he's dead. What a shame. His followers like him. They start telling other people, AD 40, hey, be a bit like Jesus. AD 50, they need to beef up the message. He did lots of miracles. Okay? AD 70, 90, the miracles argument is going about, he was raised from the dead. And that's the gospel that's been proclaimed, and it's been changed from there to here. Now, I wish I had time to go through the whole argument, but Dominic Crossan, who's head of the Jesus Seminar, who some of you maybe know in this room, and is certainly no conservative evangelical, as liberal as they come. Okay, in the Jesus Seminar, they take all the sayings of Jesus and they vote on whether they think they're authentic or not, and only about 5% of them actually get the nod. Okay? He now says, on the basis of the research that we have now, and Habermas has published a huge volume on this, he says this, that if Jesus was crucified in AD 33, okay, if it was at Easter time, that by the autumn, the gospel that was preached by the church was that Jesus Christ was Lord, he was God, he was crucified, and he was risen again from the dead. That's the gospel they first proclaimed. In other words, this message has not evolved at all. And that's from one of the most liberal theological scholars on the face of the planet today. Okay, in other words, the church hasn't changed the message. It's always the case. Now, what is interesting, if you take the evidence that we do have for his existence, the claims which are made, the changes in the disciples, and various other things, and you add all of that together, what you actually find is a startling, compelling argument for the validity of the fact that Jesus Christ rose from the dead. And lastly, the reason personally why I'm so sure is I've met the guy, I spent some time with him, I try to do it every day. And in the end, it's not just the fact that I know about this evidence. Okay? As you know, when you encounter him, that adds the experiential relevance to what we're talking about, both the logical consistency and the external reference. And that's enough from me. God save the Queen. Why don't we hand over to...
Better to not open my mouth. Get a hold of Gary Habermas's writings on this. Nobody has done more. Your point is well taken. And I think Michael's opening statement is very critical to that. The idea of faith is thrown into our face all the time, as if the naturalists have all the reason and we have all the faith. When Francis Crick, who's a winner of the Nobel Prize for cracking the code of the DNA, was asked how this world then began of Homo sapiens here. In 5 different times he has answered the question with this response. He believes a spaceship from another planet brought some spores to seed the earth, and that's how we came to be. And he's telling us we have faith? Life will always take you with the combination of faith and reason. God has put enough in this world to make faith in him a most reasonable thing. He's left enough out to make it impossible to live by sheer reason alone. He has given us the rationality and the arguments. And you know, when I think of Jesus Christ appearing to the women first as the witness to his own resurrection, it was a remarkable testimony at a time when their opinion and their view would not even have been counted in court. And the entire history of the church and the projection of the resurrection is something that is rife both in the Old and the New Testaments. I think you can just check it out and verify it, but read the writings of Gary Habermas. I think there are several evidential reasons for this, and maybe we take one more. I don't know what it's like.
Okay, right over here. One more question. Sorry, people. Right here.
Dr. Zacharias, thank you very much for tonight.
Yeah.
Your topic was, what if I don't need God? Mm-hmm. And then, if I understood you correctly, then your discussion was on the vacuity of life and the innate evil in man